Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So today I'm going to be doing my Q&A Get Ready With Me. So thank you for leaving me questions in the comment section, and also thank you for leaving me comments on Instagram. And of course, thank you for helping me hit 500 subscribers. It really does mean the world to me, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. So once again, thank you so much. And I wasn't expecting to get as many questions as I did. I actually have quite a few questions. A lot of people left me questions. Some people left me multiple questions, so I might not get through all of them in this video, but if you like this type of video, be sure to let me know that in the comment section down below, and I can do a part 2 at another point. A couple of notes before I start. First off, this is probably going to be a really long video because I'm not going to speed up my makeup application process, and I actually take a really long time to apply makeup. Also, I am not going to stop and say, oh, I'm using this product or I'm using this product. I'm just going to list all the products I used down in the description box. That will also help to keep this video moving along. So a couple different people asked me how I met my husband. So I think I'm gonna start with that question first. And it's actually a funny story because my husband and I are both chemists. We're both actually graduate students in chemistry. We are at different universities though. Luckily there's a lot of universities in New England, so it's actually easy for us to, be together, but we are at different universities. And he was originally from Buffalo, New York, and as many of you know, I grew up in Florida. So we actually met in Chicago in undergrad during a chemistry class. And there's a bit of a story about that, as you can imagine. So my husband is actually a year above me in terms of school. He's about a little bit less than 2 years older than me. But in terms of school, he's a grade ahead of me. And I had been pretty diligent about, staying on my course for being a chem major and taking all of my courses. And I had a really amazing academic advisor, and she had noticed when she was planning out my schedule that I had enough courses to take this, what is typically a senior level course as a junior. And so she's like, oh, you should just do that. It'll make your schedule easier your senior year. And I was like, okay, I can get behind that. So I tried to register for that course, but the course only had 8 students in it and it filled up with seniors. And I was like, well, that's unfortunate. So I emailed the professor and was like, hey, I have all the requirements to take the course. Can you add me to the course? And he was like, well, I can't do that. Because we really only have 8 slots because it's an advanced laboratory course. And so that was okay. So then he was like, well, if a slot opens up, you can add in. So I waited until my university had their add drop day, which is, after you register for courses, sometimes people will decide, no, I don't actually want to take that course, and they'll drop the course. So on add drop day, I logged in at 8 a.m., which is when add drop opens, and someone magically dropped a spot in that course. So I was like, oh, perfect. So I just added myself and showed up at class that day. And a bit of the funny thing about this story too is I was the only girl in that class. The class had what ended up being 6 other guys in the class and me. There only ended up being 7 people in the class in the end. But there were 6 other guys and me, and one of the guys, it turned out, eventually to be my husband. But I was actually dating someone else at the time when I started this course. But I'd been dating them for a couple years, and we'd actually met in Spain. He was studying abroad in Spain, not from my university, but from a university in the Chicago area. And I don't know, I just had thought that this is the right person for me. Everyone thought we were gonna get married. But it just kind of fell apart, and I met my husband in this class. When I met my husband, I was just like, this is the person I've been looking for. He thought I was cute, I thought he was cute. And he kept forgetting every day after class to ask me for my phone number. And so one day, he would talk to me after class and we'd be talking, but I guess he would my husband, it makes sense knowing my husband, but like he would get so focused and intent on talking to me that he would forget that he was supposed to be asking me for my phone number. And I found out later that every day he would go home and his roommate would be like, did you ask for her number? And he's like, oh no, I forgot. So in this advanced lab course, we had to do notebook prep before the class. And we were doing a certain experiment, and the TAs had to assign starting materials. And somehow they bungled my email address. We still don't know how this happened, but they messed up my email address, and so I never got starting material. And my husband noticed that on the email chain, like it was sent out to all of us students and he could see all the email addresses, that I wasn't on that chain. And so he went through the entire online directory of students to find my email address and send me the precursor that I had. And at the end of the email, he said, would you like to have dinner with me? Which I think is really funny that I kind of got asked out on my first date with my husband via email because he kept forgetting to ask for my phone number. And what's even funnier about that is I'd already figured out, being me, that I'd not been on the email about the precursor. I'd already emailed the TA, gotten the precursor, but when my husband sent that email, I was like, well, I like emailed him back and I was trying to be really nice. I was like, oh, thank you. I didn't know about that. Thank you so much for helping me out. And I only agreed to go with him to dinner as friends because I just left a relationship and I wasn't really, even though I liked him, I wasn't really ready to start. But anyway, that dinner was the start of our relationship and ended up being. So that is how I met my husband, in a chemistry class. Actually, our wedding ended up having a slight chemistry theme, which is where this sign came from. We had a whole bunch of kind of like science and love and chemistry themed like signs and displays. Like for the dessert area, we had the molecule theobromine, which is one of the main ingredients in chocolate, or one of the main molecules in chocolate, the structure drawn out over by the desserts. And so that's where this sign came from. This is actually one of the decorations from our wedding. All right, so another question a lot of you asked is how I got started in green and eco beauty, which also is wedding related. So when I was preparing for the wedding, I had originally thought that I was gonna have a professional do my makeup. And I went for a makeup test. They did my hair, which was gonna be like my hair for the wedding, and they also did my makeup. My makeup ended up looking atrocious. It was horrific, like so bad that my dad, who normally doesn't really have many negative things to say about anything, after the test, he saw me and he said my makeup looked like the makeup that they do on a like corpse. So you know how sometimes, especially for like an open casket funeral or something, they'll put makeup on. That's what he said my makeup looked like, which is like the last thing you want to hear about makeup that you are going to wear on your wedding. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this myself. So I started practicing my makeup, and I started wearing a lot more makeup than I normally wear in my daily life to practice. And part of that practicing ended up being watching a lot of YouTube videos. So that's actually how I got into YouTube as well. I got kind of obsessed watching makeup videos. But because I was wearing a lot more makeup, I discovered during that time and that testing and that trial period of me wearing makeup all the time that I had an allergy to eyeshadow. I actually wore conventional eyeshadow for my wedding, which now I regret, but it was okay. I wore conventional eyeshadow for my wedding, and actually at my wedding proper, I had a rash on my eye from the eyeshadow, and it was itchy, it was scaly, it was really uncomfortable. And I remember I had it during our honeymoon in Charleston, and I remember my husband was like looking at me in bed one night. He's like, what is going on with your eye? And I'm like, I have this rash, and I didn't want to stop wearing makeup because I really do enjoy makeup. So eventually he was like, no, you've got to stop wearing makeup and get this thing healed up. Because actually people at my wedding didn't know it because I was wearing eye makeup over my rash, which now knowing everything I know, I'm like, that was horrible. So I stopped wearing makeup and it healed up. And then once it got better, I put on some conventional eyeshadow. Again, I was wearing some MAC eyeshadows, also some from Makeup Geek too, and some from Lorac. And as soon as I started wearing eyeshadow again, the rash came back. And it made, like, when I put conventional eyeshadows on my eye, it gets itchy immediately. Like, it's physically uncomfortable. I have to take my eyeshadow off immediately. And so I started thinking, I'm like, okay, well, I'm allergic to something in this eyeshadow. I should see if there's something else. Because I'd, seen some makeup at Whole Foods. I'd heard of Physicians Formula. I'd seen it in the drugstore. I was like, there's gotta be other things. So I started doing a lot of research, and that's how I kind of got into green beauty, was out of necessity because I wanted to wear makeup, but I was allergic to eyeshadow, at least conventional eyeshadow. And also it had been something that had been knocking around in my head for a while because I am a chemist. And it's always kind of been a joke that chemists have. They're like, oh, like all these, we'll like be talking about a molecule and then be like, oh, well, that molecule is in your makeup, and blah, 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 blah. But it always just been kind of a joke. But then when I got this rash, I was like, wait, what in the world are we putting in our makeup? Like, what is going on my face? And the more I started reading, the more I was like, I don't know if I'm actually okay with all of these, chemicals being in my makeup. And I'm so much happier now. Like, I just feel better. I feel so much more comfortable wearing makeup because I'm not worried about what's in it and what it's doing to me. So that, in short, or in long, I don't know. This actually was a kind of long explanation, but really the fact that I got an eye rash from conventional eye makeup was really what has pushed me into green and eco beauty. And then watching all the YouTube videos, learning how to do my makeup for my wedding is what kind of inspired me once I switched to green and eco beauty to start my own YouTube channel. Since I already answered 2 of Colleen Berry's questions, I have my list here. I figured I would just go ahead and answer some of her other ones. And one of her questions is, what is your favorite brand? I had a hard time on this one. I'd been kind of thinking about it for a while, and I'm really tied at the moment between Lima Pure and Au Natural. I've just been really impressed by both of their brands. And to be honest, between the 2 brands, I could really do all of my makeup and be really happy with how my makeup looks. Because, I have products from each one that are kind of like my holy grail products. So I can't decide between the 2, but it would be one of those 2. Her other question is, what is the greatest gift you've been given? This question, I had an answer immediately for it, which I think is really rare for most people to be able to have an answer just right off the top of their head for that question. But one of my friends in college for my birthday asked me what my favorite charity was, and instead of buying me a gift for my birthday, donated to my favorite charity. And my favorite charity is Make-A-Wish, which is something really, really personal and very special to me because I've mentioned it before, but as a kid, I did have an autoimmune disease. It is currently in remission. It has been for years. But, it was a serious illness, and actually as a kid I did get to Make-A-Wish through Make-A-Wish, and it really just was a life-changing experience for me. And so the fact that someone, instead of buying me a gift, would give me a gift that gave to others, and especially to a charity that really does mean so much to me, that is by far the greatest gift I have ever been given. Laura Blushing has asked, what is my dream job? I actually, I was thinking about this, and I kind of have 2 dream jobs. I have the dream job that I feel like I could actually get, and the dream job that I'm not really sure I could ever actually get, but would be really awesome to have. And so, like, let's say my reachable dream job is I would really like to be a professor of chemistry at a small college, one that didn't have graduate students, didn't really do much research, but one where I could just focus on teaching chemistry, because that is what I love, and that's part of why I do a YouTube channel. Like, I really do love teaching, and I love, you know, transferring knowledge from one person to another. And I think there are so many bad science teachers in the world. I've encountered really bad ones, and I've encountered really amazing ones in my journey to get where I am now in my education. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of, you know, young students in the United States don't go into science, is they just have these really bad experiences with science, particularly with chemistry, because most people you tell that you're a chemist to, their first response is, oh, I hated high school chemistry, it was terrible, I didn't understand it. So I really want to be different. I want to inspire people, not necessarily to become chemists themselves, but to at least walk away from chemistry feeling positive about chemistry, feeling like they've learned something, and feeling like chemistry is an important subject. That being said, kind of along a similar vein, what I will call my less reachable dream job is to become like the Secretary of Education. I really have, if you can't tell, a lot of thoughts about science education, particularly in the United States, and it would be really nice to be in a position where I can actually make huge policy changes to the way that science and math are taught in the US. And so for that reason, I think being the Secretary of Education would be a really cool job, and I would actually be able to make the changes that I want to make. So right now I'm gunning for being a professor at a small college, but you know, if I was in a position in my life where I could become a Secretary of Education, I would take that position in a heartbeat. From Life Meets Step, what is one piece of makeup that you cannot live without? And I thought a lot about this, and my answer is kind of funny. It's actually lipstick. If I could only put on one piece of makeup and run out the door, it would definitely be lipstick. And that is because, if you haven't noticed right now, I don't have any lipstick on. My top lips have like no pigment. And so I feel like without lipstick on, I look kind of, I don't know, I don't look that healthy. And so to me, being able to put on lipstick is one of the most important pieces of makeup for me. And also, lipstick can be very multitasking, because you can also use it and put it on your cheeks to give some color to your cheeks as well. So definitely lipstick. Another question that I have is, what's one product that isn't green that you wish was so you could try it? And this one was a little bit hard for me to come up with an answer for, but then I realized what it was. And regardless, some people love her and some people don't, but one of the first YouTubers I ever started watching was Jaclyn Hill. And so one product I wish I could try is her palette with Morphe. So unfortunately, it is not green, so I can't try it. And also, like I mentioned before, I have a lot of allergies to eyeshadow, so like the last thing I want to do is get my rash started again. But I really do wish I could try her eyeshadow palette. I wish that it had better ingredients so I could try it. Now I've got a whole list of questions from Culture Shock 99. I don't think I'm going to go through all of them, but I will hit a couple of these. So the first is, if you could make one brand 100% cruelty-free, which one would it be? I think I would have to go with Too Faced. Before I switched to Green and Eco Beauty, I did use a lot of Too Faced products. I would like it if they were also, you know, Green and Eco brand, obviously, but I think for anyone that is vegan or shops exclusively cruelty-free, but not necessarily Green and Eco Beauty, I think I would like Too Faced to go back to being cruelty-free, because they used to be cruelty-free, but then they were sold to a parent company which does does animal testing, and so they're not really cruelty-free anymore. So I think them, especially because they used to be cruelty-free, it's so frustrating when a brand that like was cruelty-free then becomes not cruelty-free, so I would have to go with Too Faced for that. And another question is, if you could live in a fairy tale, which one would it be? Such as Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Narnia, etc. I would probably, I would probably have to go with Harry Potter. I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter nerd ever. There was a girl that lived in my dorm that was, so like everyone's always like, oh, like how do you not call yourself like a huge Harry Potter fan? And I'm like, because I've seen like what a crazy Harry Potter fan is. But so I really do enjoy Harry Potter though. I think that J.K. Rowling really did create such a complete world, and I think that's part of why I would want to live there, because I have a really good picture of what that world would look like, and I think it'd be really cool. Obviously, I would probably be like a potions teacher. Let's be real here. Hopefully a bit less of a character than Snape, but no, I really do think that that would be a cool world to live in terms of a fairy tale. All right, I've got some questions from Rebecca J. I also answered some of these previously because a lot of you guys asked the same questions, which makes it a little easier for me. What product do you use to clean your brushes? I actually use Dr. Bronner's soap. I was using the Benjabel cleansing balm, but I ran out of it and I grabbed my Dr. Bronner's and started cleaning my brushes with that. And to be honest, I think it works better. So I would highly recommend some of the Dr. Bronner's liquid soap. I have the unscented one currently because I was using it for some other things and I just wanted it to be unscented. Actually, in a weird story about the Dr. Bronner's, completely off on a tangent here for a second, I was using it in a very chemistry setting to help emulsify a neem oil in water that I was spraying on some of my plants in my garden to fight some fungus. So yeah, that was, chemistry comes in handy. So that's what I was using to actually help the neem oil mixed with water, which soap is the surfactant, and definitely, you know, that's the definition of a surfactant, is it helps oils mix with water. So that's why I was using it. But that does work extremely well for cleaning brushes. Like, my brushes just look spotless after I do that. Do you find yourself trying to convince peers to make the switch? Yes, I very much do. So actually one of my lab mates, she knows that I'm into makeup. She doesn't, I told her afterwards that I had a YouTube channel. I'm kind of, I'm just now really starting to tell people in my life. Like my husband knows, like some of our close friends know, but a lot of people actually in my life don't know that I have a YouTube channel because, well, first of all, as a scientist and as a female scientist, like, I don't know, things can get kind of dicey, and a lot of people I have told that are chemists as well are actually think it's really cool, and you know, especially that I'm going and doing something that's like so different, but it can be a little bit dicey. So I haven't told a lot of people, but one of my lab mates, she was talking to me about some makeup issues she was having. She was having actually allergies to eye makeup, which I was like, oh, I had that too. And so then I started like recommending her different products to try. She's been trying out some Pacifica and Burt's Bees, and yeah, so, and also like with my mother too, like she doesn't actually know I have a YouTube channel, but she knows I've switched to using more green and eco products, and so like I will also buy her products, and like I got her the Isla nail polish remover, which she loves, by the way, and I also got her some 100% pure nail polishes. So yeah, I'm just kind of like slowly convincing people, and the thing that's really nice about being a YouTuber and trying out so many different products is when I recommend something to someone, like I already know it works. So they're not having that whole experience of trying a green and eco product that doesn't work. So if you start telling your friends about it, make sure you're telling them about products in green and eco beauty that really do work well, so that way they get this idea that green and eco beauty products actually work, and a lot of times they work even better than conventional products. What's your favorite type of food? I like a lot of different types of food. I think I actually really like a lot of Asian food because I don't eat dairy. I actually have an allergy to dairy, which as someone with an autoimmune disease, that's a pretty common food sensitivity to have. And so I do seem to have a dairy allergy, so I don't eat any dairy. I'm not vegan, but I don't eat dairy. So I do eat meat, I do eat, you know, other animal products, just not dairy. So I really like Asian food. First of all, I really like the taste, but I also like it because for me, it's not a landmine of like potentially having dairy in it, because sometimes it's really hard to figure out what actually does have dairy and what doesn't. Especially if I'm like eating out at a restaurant or whatever, and sometimes, you know, waiters don't always know what's going on, and ugh. But anyway, so I really do like Asian food. Also, I was thinking about it too, and really every year when it's my birthday, the type of food I end up wanting to eat always ends up being sushi. Like that, for the past couple of years, we always end up with some sort of sushi for my birthday. So I think if anything is so I think that kind of tells you right there that I definitely do enjoy eating you know, Asian cuisine, and particularly sushi. The last question I'm going to answer is from Amber Doe, and it was more or less a kind of opinion about what do I think about cosmetics with bee products. So that would be something like beeswax or honey, especially, and I'm not going to read the entire comment, but it's especially with regards to the fact that there are dying bee populations, and it's complicated. Like, it's complicated because I definitely am concerned and upset about the depletion of bees in the environment. And if that's not something that's kind of on your radar, you definitely should do some reading on it. It is really concerning because we need bees to pollinate everything so that we have food, so that we have flowers, so we have trees. Like, bees are really important environmentally, and I don't know what we would do without bees. And it's especially a tricky subject because beeswax is an amazing substitute, and it's an amazing natural substitute for a lot of ingredients that are used in conventional makeup. And so it's kind of hard because it works so well. So I don't know exactly how I feel about it. Particularly, I also have strong feelings about honey too, because honey is very much a special type of substance. It has antibacterial properties. It is amazing for promoting healing of the skin. There have been scientific studies on this and on the antibacterial properties of honey, and I don't think it's something that we can replicate. We can't really substitute honey, and so I don't know. I'm not an expert in this, so I don't know if using bees products are harming bees, because at least what I had thought was that using pesticides was really what was affecting bee populations rather than the harvesting of honey or beeswax, etc. So I definitely should look into that more. I do know that one of the ways to support bees is to buy organic products. Don't use products that contain pesticides, because that is one of the factors that is definitely hurting the bee population. I'm probably going to continue using products that contain bees products, and I think it is a personal choice, but I definitely want to do more reading about how actually harvesting things like beeswax and honey are affecting the bees themselves. But I do know for a fact that pesticides are part of what is at least causing the bee depletion problem. That is the end of this Q&A video. Hopefully you enjoyed this and I was able to answer some of your questions and you could learn a little bit more about me. If you would like to continue the conversation started in this video, be sure to leave comments down in the comment section, and we can continue you know, these conversations. And if you have further questions, leave them down there as well. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and let me know if you did enjoy this kind of video. I'm sorry if my makeup doesn't look perfect today. It's a little hard actually to talk and film and answer questions and do your makeup all at once. Kudos to the YouTubers that do that, because this is a lot of coordination going on. So thank you so much for asking me questions. Thank you so much for being subscribers and for supporting me and following me on Instagram, which, by the way, my handle is at naturallybeautifulgirl if you'd like to check me out there. And I will see you next time. Bye!